welcome back. Jessica here. We are going to do a feel-good stretch series. So we're going to focus a lot on flexibility, mobility training. This is a great series you can do either on your recovery day or as part of your dynamic warm-up. So all you need is a mat and yourself. Let's go ahead and get started. So let's start with an all-fours kneeling position. So hands on your shoulders, knees under hips. We're going to start with a little bit of cat and cow. So I want you to round your spine, tuck your chin towards your chest, and then arch your back, open your chest, gaze away. So let's do a few here. One thing we're going to focus on here is moving our spine in all different directions. That's the Pilates instructor in me. So everything comes from our center. That includes our spine. So we want to make sure our spine is nice and mobile. We're going to start with some flexion and extension in our spine. Let's do about one more here. And then come back to your flat back or neutral spine position. Let's do some T-spine rotation. So bring one hand behind your head. Open your arm, look underneath your elbow, and then go ahead and bring your elbow behind your head towards your standing arm. So we're just getting some rotation here. Opening up to the side. Some movement here. Now you take this nice and slow, friends. Go to your range of motion, whatever feels good today. We want you to feel a stretch, but we don't want to overdo it. We don't want to stretch to the point where there is pain. That is a big no-no. Let's do one more this side. And then on your next one, if you want, you can thread the needle. So take your hand, thread it underneath your standing arm, bring your hips back. Just do a little bit of a deeper stretch here. Really think about pulling your fingertips long. Feels good, yes? Yes, it does. Come on back. Let's do the other side. So hand behind your head, open up, gaze underneath your shoulder, your elbow, and bring elbows together. So we're just getting some movement here throughout our spine, warming up through your shoulder girdle as well. Hopefully that should feel pretty nice to start. We're going to do a little bit of mobility training throughout our shoulders and our hips today as we warm up our muscles. Again, this is great as part of your recovery day if you're just looking to get some feel-good movement in, make your body happy, or if you're planning a more intense workout, it would be a great dynamic warm-up. On your next one, let's go ahead and thread the needle. Reach your arms through, sink your hips back. Good, come back to center. Hands underneath your shoulders. Tuck your toes, press your hips back, kind of downward facing dog. So hips up to the ceiling, gaze towards your thighs. Let's go ahead and pedal out your feet, right and left, nice and slow. Alternating, think about pressing your heels down, getting a nice stretch through your heels and your calves. That should feel pretty good, especially for my friends who do a lot of high impact work or who run a lot. This is a really good stretch for you. All right, friends, we're gonna add on. So go ahead and pedal out your feet about 4 times. And then after your 4th one, shift your hips forward, find plank. All right, go ahead and take your right foot to the outside of your right hand, find a little lunge. Open up through your left hip. Bring your foot back, lift your hips. We're gonna do that again. Pedal out your feet 4 times. After your 4th one, drop your hips, step your left foot to the outside of your left hand. Low lunge. Yes, open up through your back hip. When you're ready, go ahead and step your foot back. Let's do a couple more on each side. Hips forward, step out. Ooh, that feels good. Nice stretch through your hips. Last one, we're gonna add on after this. Hips forward, step out. When you step out, make sure you land with a flat foot. Knee is right above your heel. This time we're going to add on a little rotation. Hips forward. When you're ready, step out. Take that same arm, open up to the sky, spinal rotation. Come on back. Let's do that again. Ooh, I'm already getting warm, friends. This is a great warm-up. Step forward. Reach and rotate. Ah. Anytime something says good when you stretch, you can always say, ah. So good. Let's do one more each side. Reach and rotate. Last drop down onto your knees. How do you do so far? So far, so good? Let's stretch out through your hips. So I want you to come to a half kneeling position, just like so. And I want you to press your back heel forward. I'm just gonna open up through your front hip. There we go. So, we know we can always add on. If you're just getting warm, you wanna make sure that you are flowing through your movement. Good, on your next one, we're gonna add a little bit of a hamstring stretch. So I want you to sink your hips back, straighten your front leg. You can flex your foot if that feels good. We're gonna get more of the back side of your front leg. And press on forward. So a nice little flow here. Take this at your own pace. So it's a hip opener, going right into a hamstring stretch. On our next one, we're gonna add on a side bend. So as you press forward, I want you to tip up and over towards your front knee. It's gonna deepen the stretch just a little. Come on back. And we're moving our spine in all different directions with that lateral flexion. Last one. Oh, that feels so good. Come on back. Yes. Let's do the other side. Switch feet. We're gonna start with just the hip opener. So press your hip forward. And then come on back to your starting position. We'll do a couple here. Nice little hip opener. Hopefully that feels pretty good. You want to make sure your hips are loose for your workout. A lot of people get tight hips, especially if you're one of those who sit a lot, like me, desk jobs, tend to get tight hips. Go ahead and sink your hips back. Let's add on your hamstring stretch. Ooh, and you may notice one side feels a little tighter than the other. If you need to sink down and hold that stretch for a moment, please feel free to do so. Let's do about one more here. And on our next one, we are going to add in that side bend. So when you press your hips forward, take one arm tip up and over towards your front knee. Ooh, I feel that more this side. Come on back. Nice little flow. Press forward. Tip. And last one. Fantastic. All right, friends. Let's do a little bit more with some hip work and then we'll get into some shoulders. So we're gonna start off doing some Cossack squats. So what we're gonna do, go ahead and stand on up and I want you to find a crescent lunge. Good, opening up through your back hip once more. I want you to bring your hands down. We're gonna take this nice and slow. Lots of movement coming from your hips. Now I want you to pivot, opening up. So you're down low here. This is your Cossack squat. You might feel a nice stretch in your inner thigh as well. Now I want you to shift your weight to your other side. There we go. Now go ahead and pivot. So you're in your low lunge, and you can come on up. Crescent lunge, if that feels good for you. If that does not feel good for you, then you can stay right down here. That is absolutely okay. Again, you know how your body is feeling. You take the options that work for you. No need to speed this up here. And it's not about speed. It's about getting that stretch. Maybe we sit a little bit deeper each time. We want to improve our mobility here. Excellent, friends. Let's do about one more each side with wherever your own pace is. Rotate. There we go. Last one. Make sure you're even on both sides. We rotate from our hip. Come on down. Whew, I'm feeling a little bit warm here. Hopefully you are too. All right, we did a lot with our hips. Let's move into some shoulders. We are going to go ahead and lay on our side. We're going to do what's called telescope arms. So I want you to lay on your side, stack your shoulders, stack your hips right on top of each other. Bottom arm is long in front of your shoulder. Bring your top arm in front. Hopefully you can see me okay. From here, I want you to reach your top arm long, like someone's pulling your fingertip forward, and then go ahead and retract back. So we're just starting off with some protraction and retraction of our shoulders. Now, if you need like a towel, or maybe you have a yoga block that you can use as a pillow, that's fine. Otherwise, you can just go ahead and relax your neck. So think pull, pull, pull forward, and then pull on back. All right, we're gonna do a few here. So just, again, protracting and retracting through our shoulders. Now we're gonna add the telescope arms, so I want you to reach forward. Now pull your arm back, bend at your elbow, and open up, rotate behind you. Bend your elbow, and reach forward. There we go. So we are focusing on improving our shoulder mobility here. Let's do a couple more. Ooh. Want to make sure that I have plenty of room behind me. Last one here. And let's go into some pinwheel arms. So come back to your starting position. Reach your arm right up overhead, bicep by your ear. Reach your arm back behind you. Circle your hand back to your hip, and then bring your hand back together. So just like you're tracing a circle, I'm a little limited on space here. But we're gonna do about 3 or 4 in each direction. Your torso can rotate following along with your arm. Once you've done about 3 or 4, go ahead and reverse. Hand comes by your hip, rotate on back. And again, maybe you sink a little bit deeper into each stretch. Maybe you roll back, maybe your arm reaches just a little bit farther. Now, if you have tight shoulders like I do, or limited shoulder mobility like I do, this might feel delightful. Good, go ahead and relax. Let's switch around, flip around. Let's do the second side. So we're gonna start with just the protraction, retraction, stack your shoulders, stack your hips, pull forward, reach, 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 and then retract back. So pull and push with energy, like there's resistance, like you are doing this through a big puddle of mud. And pull. Let's go into our telescope arms. Reach your fingertips forward, then pull back, bend at your elbow, open up through your chest, reach your arm behind you. Nice little chest opener as you rotate too. Think about pulling your top shoulder down to really feel the stretch through the front of your chest. Again, my friends who sit a lot during the day, you might have a tight chest, so this would be a great option for you. After this last one, we'll go right into pinwheels. So in your starting position, go ahead and reach your arm up, bicep by your ear, sweep your hand down, like you're making a circle. Big old circle, don't forget to rotate. And after you've done about 4, go ahead and reverse that circle. Ooh, I need more space. We want to get that mobility from our shoulder, that nice movement. And once you've done about 4, you can go ahead and come on back. All right, friends, let's finish off with a little bit of down dog to pigeon. So one more time, hands underneath your shoulders, tuck your toes, lift your hips, find a downward dog. I want you to lift your right leg up behind you so you're in 3-legged dog. Let's go ahead and pump your leg up 3 times. Pump up for 3, 2, 1. I want you to shift your hips forward, bend your knee towards your chest, sweep your knee in front of you so you're in pigeon. So we're opening up through the back of your head right here. Now if it feels good, you can come down onto your forearms. Good. And if you want to make this a little bit more dynamic, then you can go ahead, place your hands back down, tuck your back toe once more, lift your hips, pulse up for 3, 2, 1. Bend your knee, come on forward. Let's do this 3 or 4 times. You can take this pigeon stretch for as long as it feels good to you. Now that you're a little bit more, maybe you want to make it more of a static stretch. Up to you. Ooh. Nice opener for the back of your hip right there. Fantastic. Let's do the other side. Tuck your toes, lift your hips. Bring one leg up, pulse up for 3, 2, 1. Shift your hips forward, bend your knees, sweep your leg forward. Ooh, pigeon. Yes, that feels wonderful. 2 more here. Yeah, maybe you want to sink a little bit lower into that stretch. if that feels good to you. Again, we want to challenge our range of motion here, but we don't want to go to where it's painful. But we do always want to work on improving our range of motion and our flexibility and mobility. Last one here. Well done, friends. Go ahead and relax when you're ready. If it feels good just to hold that stretch, you absolutely can do so. Thank you so much for joining me for this Feel Good Stretch series. Hope you're feeling nice and stretched out. At this point, don't forget to like, subscribe, drop a comment, let me know what else you want to see, and I will see y'all again soon.